Hello. So, my name's Bailey. Very honestly, you are balanced on my coffee maker, and I just got home from a frat party, so like, everything's kind of a mess. Alright? But, we're here, we're collected. Let's do this. This is a reading vlog. Welcome. Let's have fun here. I'm not gonna address the absence, because there's nothing really to address. I was in a reading slump, and when there was no reading, there was no content, so... You know, that sucks, honestly. But I'm reading again, which is wonderful. So I'm back. Reading. I am currently reading a few things according to Goodreads, but I'm actively reading two things, one audiobook, one physical read, which I will tell you about right now. My physical read is When You Are Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I'm actually reading two contemporaries right now, which is like weird for me because I don't really gravitate toward contemporaries, but this is a YA contemporary, and it is about these two best friends that drift apart. Basically, one friend is kind of branching out into a different social circle, and our main character Cleo kind of feels left behind, and then other drama ensues that is affecting their friendship. This whole book, like, it alternates between two timelines. There's like the now timeline where the friendship has completely disintegrated at this point, and then there's the then timeline where we're watching the friendship kind of fall apart. This book was annotated by my best friend Ava, so I've been really enjoying reading it because, like, for some reason we like to torture ourselves by imagining not being friends with each other and then being all like sad. So this book is really helping with that because watching this friendship fall apart is making me depressed, but then also like appreciate my friendship with Ava a lot more. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm 100 pages in, or 99 pages in to be accurate. I would hate to lie to you. I'm really liking this, so great. My audiobook read is The Princess and the Fangirl, or Princess and the Fangirl, I'm not sure if there's a the, by Ashley Poston. I tried to read this physically, I think either a year or 2 years ago, and it didn't work out because I hated it so much. And I don't hate it as much now, I just don't like it. The Once Upon a Con series is a ton of companion novels. Like, it's 3 companion novels. So the first book is Geekerella, this is the second one. They're all fairy tale retellings, so this one is a Prince and the Pauper retelling. Very honestly, I don't really know the Prince and the Pauper story that well. I just know there's like a switcheroo in it. The plot of this book, how do I describe it? Okay. There's a show called Starfield. It's like, I think, a Star Trek or Star Wars-y kind of a thing. Basically, it's a show, but it's been rebooted into a movie. And one of our characters, Jess, is the actress who plays Princess Amara in the movie. And basically, her character dies. And Jess is pleased with this because she doesn't really want to be in this franchise. She just wanted to be like a one-off movie. The fandom, however, is very much not pleased with this character dying, and that's where the fangirl, Imogen, comes in because she has started a petition to save Jess's character and have her brought back to life in the sequel. And so they have a uncanny resemblance to each other, and they end up switching places at this convention. I'm probably like 20% through this book. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just think, like, compared to Geekerella, which I gave, I think, 4 stars, this book doesn't have as much of, like, the charm that I liked from the first one. Like, I don't like the main characters at all. Imogen is bordering on a not like other girls character. Like, every page, I'm watching her, like, waiting for her to make some comment about how different she is. She's teetering on the edge, basically. And then Jess is just, like, insufferable. And I get that, like, she's very obviously really aggressively pretentious at this point in the book to show her development probably throughout the novel, but that doesn't make her any less insufferable to read now. Like, she is constantly complaining about Starfield and how, like, she just hates it, and she wants to do more, like, real cinema, and she wants to be an indie darling and want to do, like, Oscar-worthy stuff, even though Starfield is something that's bringing her a lot of fame. Like, she has no appreciation for it, and she doesn't like geek stuff, not Greek life. On frat parties, Greek life is on my mind. She doesn't like geek stuff and fandom stuff, she doesn't understand conventions, and she's just complaining the whole time. So it's, like, sucks to read her perspective, very honestly. And then the side characters, like, they're fine, but, like, I just feel nothing toward them. This whole book is okay. You know, I'd say, like, it's okay / like, teetering toward I don't like it. you know, like, it's enjoyable to read, like, I'm entertained, but I also hate the characters and don't really care about the plot. At this point in time, I don't know if I said it, but I'm 20% through or something like that, and they're starting to introduce the love interests and stuff, and I have thoughts. First off, Imogen, we already know, I don't like her. She literally said the phrase, ugh, muggles, and that was the end of it. I don't really like books that center famous people or fandom stuff, so, like, this book combines two things I don't like reading about. I don't like reading about famous people because I just don't care about their problems, and geek stuff and fandom stuff, like, I'm too closely attached to that I don't want to read about it. So, wonderful combination. But Imogen, already don't like her. She met her love interest, whom I actually like her love interest, but I feel as though the author's trying to, like, convince me this is a hate to love situation. But a pet peeve of mine, because I love hate to love, I love enemies to lovers, a pet peeve of mine is when it's not done well enough and the reason why the characters hate each other isn't convincing. You could argue that the love interest would like hate Imogen because he's on the side of Jess, and like obviously we've established that like Imogen and Jess don't agree on the whole Amara thing and the death of the character thing. So you could argue like he hates her because, you know, Imogen and Jess clash, they butt heads. But like that would not constitute hate. Maybe a dislike, but not hate. And then like there's a scene where Imogen spills coffee on the love interest, and the author literally writes something along the lines of like, the fury was palpable or something like that. And it's like, but no. You cannot convince me that someone would be radiating fury after you poured a couple coffees on them. Like, I've been a human for 18 years. I have interacted with people. That's not hatred. That's like an annoyance. You're not furious with some random person for doing this. So like, it's unconvincing. So it's kind of like annoying to read. I just hate when hate to loves are not convincing and then they're like, the author's trying to be like, yes, they hate each other, but one day it's gonna bloom into love. No. They just like mildly dislike each other. So that's what I'm reading currently. I hope to finish the audiobook soon. I listen to audiobooks pretty fast, so once I have a day where I can like walk around a lot, I'll probably finish it. I am approaching final season for university. By the way, I'm in university now. This is my dorm room. And like, I should be busy studying during final season, but we'll see if I get that done. So like, reasonably I should have time for reading, is basically what I'm saying. Oh goodness, university has been a trip. You know, I went in doing sciences, and I'm finishing off this semester doing sciences, but next semester, bitch, I've changed it all to social science. I am pivoting because I've discovered things about myself, and that is that I don't give a fuck about science. So, you know, it's been a few months. Things are developing. I'm doing wonderfully, I think. Maybe, who knows. But I'll update you when I've read more of either of my reads. I want to wipe my makeup off now because my face feels greasy. But yeah. Me and Ava are reading right now. This is so unnatural again. There's Ava in my messy dorm room. We're having a reading date, even though she's gonna have to leave in like probably 10 minutes or something like that because she has a job now. But I'm reading this. Already told you about it. I've made like 5 pages of progress. Nothing to update on. But I have finished Princess and the Fangirl. I'm not gonna review it now because I need to get my thoughts together. But it's a 3-star. It was okay. I'll talk about it later.
I am rereading.
I love that.
That's good. I am rereading Winter, the Lunar Chronicles, because it is the all-time favorite book series. So, yeah, good times.
Can we see the cover, or are you hiding it?
No, I'm hiding it. Ta-da!
Oh,
and the new covers are really gorgeous too, so I like those. I have those as well because I have to.
Ava got to make her appearance back.
I know, I came back.
Oh, she's the one who annotated this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so I filmed a clip with Ava, and it might be completely unusable, I'm not sure yet, because I haven't filmed a clip with her in a while. Oh my god, did you see my foot? No, thank you, I'm gonna keep it behind my head. Haven't filmed with her in a while, so we were very weird, and we were talking over each other, so it might be unusable, but I'm gonna try and edit it in enough to, like, still use the clip, because, like, I don't know, it's kind of fun. She always occurred in my vlogs before, or, like, she always, occurred is a weird word, but she always, like, I always filmed a clip with her in my vlogs, so I wanted to bring her back in, which was nice. Also, it's fitting, because, like, she annotated this book for me, so, like, she's relevant. Anyway, that is not, I'll talk about that book in a bit, but I want to talk to you about Princess and the Fangirl because I finished this book. I finished this book earlier today. I ended up giving it 3 to 5 stars. I did end up kind of liking it, I guess. Like, there was equal things that I liked and didn't like, I suppose. Like I said before, it's a Princess and the Pauper retelling, so there's the whole switcheroo aspect. I can actually tell you why they switch places now. Basically, Jess, the actress character, ends up getting her hands on a script. Like, her director gives her a script for the second Starfield movie, and she's fed up with Starfield at this point. She's in a very stressful place, and so she just throws it out. Like, she doesn't really think about it, and then she throws out the script. And then the next day, coincidentally, the script ends up online, and like somebody starts leaking the script, and so she needs to switch places with Imogen so that she can be anonymous and be like a nobody, so that she can run around the convention trying to find whoever is leaking the script. So that's why they switch places. I actually really liked where this book went in the end. Like, the climax isn't them switching back or something like that. Like, I like that the switching ends before the end of the book. There's sapphic representation in this book. I thought it was done fine because there was no commentary on it. Like, it was just like, this girl gay, she like a girl. So like, there's nothing really to fuck up there. This series, it's fun to read. I find them like just, you know, a fun little contemporary, nothing that deep about them, and I kind of like that. You know, sometimes you want to read that's just kind of like fun and easy. And I think this series, like the Once Upon a Con series, is pretty good for that. I haven't read the last one. I have gotten it on audiobook, so I think I'm going to start listening to it relatively soon. Just because, yeah, I really like listening to them, and they're just fun books to read. But this series as a whole, I think, is good for that. So if you're ever looking for, like, just a fun, easy audiobook or book to read, like, they're fun. There's light romances that are very cute in them. Like, this book had 2 romances. The first book had 1 main one, and then there was, like, side ones. I really enjoyed the end because it's one of those things where it's like, this is a fun, light, contemporary read, so, like, I don't care that the ending is a little bit, like, unrealistic in that high school rom-com kind of way, where, like, one of the main characters gets up on stage and gives a big speech that nobody ever asked for, but it's fun because you're like, whatever. Think Mean Girls when she's giving her speech and breaking the crown. Like, in real life, if that happened at a high school, would anybody be eating into that? No. Everyone would be like, what the fuck is she doing? But when it's in that context of being this high school movie or this comfort contemporary, like, it makes sense and you buy into it, you know? So, overall, I thought it was a good time. I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would, especially having already DNF'd it once before. I definitely like Geekerella more. I gave it 4 stars. I like the characters more. I do like that the characters do make appearances in this book, like the characters from the first book. I didn't really ever get connected to the characters in this one that much, but that's alright. It was fun anyway. I do want to say that I mentioned earlier that Imogen was teetering on the edge of I'm not like other girls, and, like, she did make a comment partway through the book being like, I don't wear makeup because I just don't see the point in changing how I look, and, like, she had this whole spiel about makeup, and, like, it was very annoying, but I think it was maybe balanced out because Jess is, like, not like that. I don't know. I actually ended up liking Jess as a character a lot more than Imogen. I just still don't really like Imogen, but I did enjoy Jess by the end of the book. So, overall, a good time. Kind of glad that I picked it up, and probably will be starting the 3rd book. I can never remember the name, but it's Beauty and the Beast retelling. So I might be starting that soon. We'll see. With this book, I can tell you the exact page number. I'm 151 pages in, and I'm loving it. I love everything about it. I'm also really biased, obviously, because, like, there's annotations from my best friend in here, and it's a book that she really loved, and, like, I already have the biases and whatever. But I am really enjoying it. I like the writing style. I like the main character, Cleo. I'm enjoying in a twisted way watching this friendship fall apart because, like, I like watching friendship turmoil. I find friendship, interpersonal relationships, like, very interesting. In the deepest pit of my heart, I do believe that, like, close friendship breakups are some of the hardest things just because, like, it's someone who you are so deeply entrenched with, because you become entrenched with friends so easily, especially really close ones, that I think, like, they're really tough breakups that nobody ever really talks about. So I really like watching friendship turmoil in books and stuff like that, and this book is giving me all of the friendship sadness that I could ever desire. This book follows two best friends, as I think I mentioned, Cleo and Layla. Something to note, both main characters are people of color. I presume the author is too. And Layla has a stutter. I don't know if the author has a stutter. There's not much commentary on the stutter, but it's just something that the character has. Layla is a singer. She really likes to sing. And she gets in with the chorus girls because she joins the chorus, or I guess it's like the equivalent of a choir. I'm not really sure what chorus means, but it's a singing group at school. And they're kind of like popular girls from what I've read. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And she and Cleo start growing apart because of this. And it's really tough to read some of the scenes because, like, it's clear that, like, Layla's, like, to blame. But it's not as, like, cut and dry as that. Where it's, like, she's obviously not, like, trying to ruin their friendship. But, like, her actions, like, little small actions, you can see them adding up in Cleo's mind that's, like, hurting her feelings. And, like, widening the gap between them. So it's, like, really tough to read sometimes because, like, you as the reader can see the accumulation of all these things, but, like, Layla can't. So it's just, it's not a happy one, but I'm really enjoying this book so far. I'm really liking the time skips too. The time skips are really working for me. I'm gonna try and get to halfway before I go to bed, even though it's already really early in the morning, but halfway is about page 192. So I've got like 40 something pages to go. I just discovered recently that I have a test, like a final test. It's not a final exam, but like it's a test during the final exam period. I have it on the day that I'm flying back home, and it's like, it's not at a time where I can work around it. Like, I'm going to be in the air during this test. So I requested to write at a different time because I was like, you know what, like, this is not a changeable thing for me. I don't want to move the flight. And they, like, low-key said no. So I don't know what to do because, like, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm not moving the flight. I can't really move the flight. So, like, I'm, like, a little stressed because this is the first time I've ever had to, like, actually worry about this, because in high school, like, when you request a different time, they give you a different time, or at least in my experience. But apparently in university, they don't give a fuck about you and your personal shit. So I'm a little stressed. We're gonna see if I can work my persuading magic. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. I ended up reading to page 201, and I'm calling it quits for the night/morning because it's very early, but my sleep schedule is whack anyway, so, like, that's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, page 201. I'm calling it quits because I'm tired, but, like, the book is picking up in that way that books do around the halfway point leading into the climax. So, like, I want to keep reading, and I'm really excited to pick it up when I wake up. But I am so exhausted. Things are picking up, and, like, we're having more, you know, fights and seeing more of, like, the past and, like, what actually went down. That was, like, the nail in the coffin of the friendship, you know, because, like, we watched a lot of lead up, and now we're getting into, like, the actual main event. Highly recommend reading this as, like, a buddy read with a friend, because I think it'd be fun, like, especially, like, a close friend. I feel like it'd be a fun buddy read, because while reading this, I've been texting Ava, just reminiscing about random shit, and when we were reading on FaceTime, we were just, like, reminiscing about random memories and excited about when I fly home to see her over winter break. So, like, this is fun to read with friends because you get to watch a friendship dissolve but appreciate yours in the process. I need to go to bed because I'm delirious. But yeah, this shit slaps. There's also a really cute romance budding in this book, and I love that. So, bonuses. I look yellow. Interesting. I have not kept you up to date well at all, because I've just discovered as I'm sitting down to film this clip that I have 3 books I need to tell you about. Well, technically 4, but 3 books that I've finished. So that's gonna be a lot for me. This truly was a YA contemporary week, and I'm not mad about it. It's just kind of weird because, like, YA contemporary is not, like, my thing. But yeah, where should I start with this? Okay, let's go chronological. Since I last talked to you, I think I mentioned that I was going to pick up the 3rd book in the Once Upon a Con series on audiobook. I did that. It's called Bookish and the Beast, by the way. And I listened to it within like 24 hours, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. It follows this character named Vance and this other character named Rosie, and it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And I think it's my favorite one in the series. Like, technically speaking, I gave Geekerella and Bookish and the Beast the same rating, but like, Bookish and the Beast is my favorite in the series because Vance is just like my truest love. He's this British depressed boy, and he's so funny. Like, he's funny depressed. I don't know how to synopsize it because like you kind of need the context of the whole series, but he's the fucking actor in this book, because every book has like an actor and a fan character, and they like get together for some reason. And he ends up in this small town that Rosie lives in. He's living in this like mansion. He's there not by his own will. He's just there because he has not looked good in the eye of the media recently, and he needs to like lie low. And Rosie ends up getting involved with Vance because she ends up water damaging this really expensive book from the mansion that he's staying in. And Rosie ends up having to work in the library to make back the money from the book she destroyed. The library in the house. Basically, there's a library in this mansion, and they're trying to restore the library. So she has to help them restore the library. That's kind of whatever. That synopsis is really bad, but it's just like a cute romance contemporary. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, whatever. I really loved it. I love the characters in this one. Rosie, I could do without. Rosie's fine, but like Vance is the one that I really care about. I just thought this one was fun. I thought the characters were more charming. I think I said, but in Princess and the Fangirl, I think my problem was that I didn't really care about the characters. They were fine, but I never loved any of them, and they didn't have the charm of the first book. I think this one was more like the first book, where like I liked the side characters, I liked the main characters, and I was more invested in them. Overall, I don't have much else to say about this book, but overall, I love this series in the sense that it's just like a fun contemporary romance series. Each book, you know what you're going into. You're going to get a cute light romance that incorporates fandom shit. So like if you're someone who really likes to read stuff about like fandom stuff, this will probably be fun for you because it incorporates that a lot. If I'm like speeding through this, it's because I am. Next we have When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I finished this and I gave this 5 stars. I am extremely biased, like I've mentioned, but even then, I think this book stands as a good novel. I'm really interested in picking up this author's debut novel, which is The Beauty That Remains. This is their second novel. I think I'm just really into books about friendship. Like, as much as I don't like contemporary books, if I'm going to pick one up, like, usually ones about friendship hit. Like, one of my favorite books, The Best Lies by Sarah Liu, is about a friendship. And I didn't know this, but I think I'm into friendship books, so our main character in this book is very, very flawed, and I think I like that about her because, like, the friendship falls apart, right? And there's fault on both sides, but in my opinion, Layla's the villain. She's the problem, like, the big problem. Cleo, while she is flawed, as the reader, like, you watch her grow from her mistakes and her toxic thought processes, and I think it's really good progression. And the romance in this book is not a big focus, like it's just kind of like a side thing, but it's adorable. The romance is very nice, and the first kiss in this book, it's in the rain, in a power outage, and it's just like swoon-worthy content. So overall, I loved this. I loved the development of the new friendships in this book, and like the side characters in this book. They're so charming and sweet, and I loved them all. Once again, in terms of diversity, it's a very diverse book. Lots of different races, lots of different sexualities. There's like a side couple that's like a sapphic couple, and it's adorable, and I'm invested in them. I have nothing else to really say about this book, just that it was adorable when it came to the romance. I loved the side characters, and I loved how their relationships came together across the book. There's a big like thread of Shakespeare throughout this book. This could very well be a Shakespeare reimagined retelling sort of a thing, but I'm not familiar enough with Shakespeare to tell you whether or not it is. But I just know that the main character is very much into Shakespeare, so like there's a lot of Shakespeare references in the book. So if that's your thing, it's got it. But yeah, this was a good book. I enjoyed it, and I loved the writing. I don't know how to describe how I liked the writing. Like, I can't describe it as being something unique. I just really enjoyed it. That's why I want to pick up the author's other book. I feel like I'm reviewing really badly today. I'm just realizing I liked these books, so it's like there's not much for me to discuss because it would just be me being like, yeah, I liked it. I had a good time. This is also one of my favorites of the year. Bookish and the Beast is also one of my favorites of the year. Even though it's a 4-star, it's a favorite. Next up is the last book I have to talk about finishing, and that's Heartstopper Volume 2 by Rimba Rowell. Not by Rimba Rowell. I don't know why I said that. This is by Alice Oseman. This is a reread. I've already read this before. That's what reread means. I just reread this because I had a copy with me and I wasn't reading anything else at the time. I was supposed to be studying for a bio test actually, so like maybe it was a bad choice, but this is a 5-star. I love this series. Heartstopper is a queer graphic novel romance series, and it follows the romance between these two boys, Nick and Charlie, and it's just wholesome and cute, and it does deal with some more dark topics, but like it's not sad. If there are darker topics thrown in, it's not dragging down the mood of the graphic novel, you know what I mean? It's touched on, but otherwise a fun time. This book especially focuses on one of our main characters discovering their sexuality, and I really love it because like I can relate. Like it's very much portrayed in the way that people nowadays discover their sexuality, where they're like experimenting and like googling stupid am I gay quizzes online and stuff like that, and I love it. Again, not much to say, just that this is wonderful and you should pick it up if you haven't already. Alright, those are all the books I've finished. I'm closing out this vlog, by the way, so like this is the end. But I'm vlogging next week, I do believe, or like this week. The week that is happening now. But I will tell you what I'm currently reading, and that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is I guess, is it new adult? I don't know. It is a fantasy romance, is all I know. And I'm about 87 pages in. I haven't read the synopsis because, very honestly, it's long and I'm lazy. But this follows Poppy, and she's a maiden, and she, like, can't have sex, and nobody can look at her, nobody can touch her, because she needs to, like, she's been chosen to ascend to the gods, whatever that means. I'm 80 pages in, no idea. And then her love interest is this guy named Hawk, and he's a guard that is assigned to her to take care of her and make sure she doesn't, like, break any of these rules and nothing happens to her. What the actual plot of this is, I don't know. I'll tell you when I get there. I'm actually enjoying it so far. I was a little nervous, but I'm liking it. I thought that because the main character needs to be like a virgin and is not allowed to like do anything because she's like valuable, I thought she'd be like this like innocent little flower, and she's not. She's like the kind of main character I like, where she's got sass and she's stubborn and she likes breaking the rules, and I enjoy it because I didn't want her to be this little demure flower. That's not the type of character I like to read. So I'm enjoying this. The love interest, I'm already a fan of. We've had an interaction with him. Enjoy him a lot. I'm anticipating liking this, which is good. I wanted to pick up this because I've read so much like wholesome YA contemporary recently, and this is definitely a 180 from that, from what I've heard, because I've heard the smut is something else, and it's fantasy, so I wanted a bit of a change. So I'm excited to read more of this, and I'm liking what I've read so far. With that being said, that's the end of the vlog. I hope you'll see me next week. No, I don't hope. Nay, no hope. I promise you'll see me next week with a reading vlog telling you how my reading with this is going, and hopefully I've finished it. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. I've been Bailey. Bye-bye.